I've dreaded this preview. I really have. I certainly was not looking forward to this preview, not because of last season and the scoreline being 7-0, but simply because of what we have been seeing in the past few weeks, and I have no idea what to expect in this game. But we'll definitely be speaking about that in this video. We'll talk a bit about Ten Hag being under pressure and the media that is pushing for his sacking regardless of what happens on or off the pitch for Manchester United. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like. Thank you for joining me. Let's get into it. So, Liverpool at Anfield. It certainly is a game that in its time was good for us, in my opinion. I think we had fairly good results there under Sir Alex, but of course, after that, it hasn't been a happy hunting ground for us. In fact, we haven't hunted at all at Anfield. The last time we won there, the likes of Fellaini was playing, Mata, Rooney, Jones, etc. I think we've come a long way since then in terms of the players that we have, but we don't look like a team that is going to get any type of result at Anfield right now. Ten Hag is under pressure, and that alone is one because of the players, two also but part his fault, and three the off-field issues that the club hasn't dealt with, and the same cycles that have been repeated over and over again for the past 10 years or so. Where we find ourselves now is mainly our own fault. But of course, you want to blame the Glazers, you want to blame the recruitment team, you want to blame Richard Arnold, John Murtagh, etc., the board. You want to blame all of these people. But at the end of the day, the team still needs to perform, regardless of what happens behind the scenes. But because of the recruitment team getting the players that don't have the right mentalities with high salaries, this is the result that we have. Players with no ambition, players that do not want to work, fight, train hard, or reach that level that they need to reach to compete with the elite. And then we have players that want to do well but are not of quality. And that is the middle ground of the squad that Ten Hag has. And then you add the injuries, 25 injuries already this season, and we're not even halfway through it. So many things that has affected the way Ten Hag wants to play. And people talk about the style of play. You cannot execute your style of play if you do not have the right players technically good enough to do so. It's obvious. Even the likes of Sean Dyche cannot do what he does if he doesn't have the right players executing his tactical plan. And everybody wants Ten Hag to play possession football with the likes of McTominay in midfield. He wants us to play, they want us to play out from the back in Ten Hag to show his Ajax style of play at United, but we have the likes of Maguire who simply cannot play out from the back. There are so many things wrong with our team, with our club, and yet Ten Hag is somewhat keeping us afloat, if I have to put it that way. It seems like the media has put him on a certain life support because Samuel Lockers comes out and says that if he loses against Liverpool, he's going to be under pressure and he could potentially be sacked. It is said that the likes of Graham Potter, Zinedine Zidane, Roberto De Zerbi are all number one candidates to replace Ten Hag should this bad form continue. They are so easy wanting him to get out because they know under a better structure behind him, he will be an excellent coach. He is an excellent coach. It is just one, the recruitment team. Two, it is the structure behind him. Nobody is there to tell Ten Hag, no, we're not going to buy him. We're going to buy him instead. He would be much better for you. Plus, he is a bit cheaper, younger, potential, etc. He's doing everything alone, and that cannot be done. We are such a big club, and there are so many facets to our club that made us successful that is simply not being run properly anymore. There are people behind the scenes that are definitely not wanting us to succeed. Whether they, have their own agendas, we see, the result of it. It simply is not a good place to be right now. We do not have a sense of hope or a sense of, you know what, let's actually depend upon this particular thing. There doesn't seem to be anything within the team as well. So much pressure being put on a 20-year-old in Hoyland to come in and be that main striker for Manchester United. That is a lot of pressure, and I'm not going to write him off because I know he is going to be an excellent player for us. So I'm not worried about the media talking about him not having a Premier League goal. His goals will come. Garnacho, of course, we know he needs to be consistent and start impacting games from the beginning. But again, that will come. There are so many different things that affects Ten Hag and the way he has to think with his team. But there are still issues that he can resolve by playing the right players. He can literally start by, of course, and this is the team I would go with for Liverpool. I would obviously play Onana in goal. I don't think playing Bayern there in this game, regardless of what Onana has been doing, I think Onana still has to be the number one, regardless of his bad form, should I put it that way, his lack of confidence, because he's played for Inter Milan and the Milan derby is just as vigorous, and I'm sure he'll be able to handle the Anfield pressure. Again, if he makes mistakes, it's not something we haven't seen before. So for me, I would start Luke Shaw at left back if he is fit to do so. Same with Maguire. If Maguire is fit, the two of them will be assessed ahead of the game. So if they are fit enough to start, I would start the two of them. If they're not fit to start, then I would play Reguilon and Lindelof, and of course Varane at centre back with him. Evans is a good defender, but he won't have the pace to keep up with what Liverpool is going to do. So I'd probably play Lindelof there. Now, then again, of course, you might play Evans because he's a much better box defender and he's more smarter positionally. And because we're going to be sitting back so deep, maybe you would play him. But I would play Varane with Lindelof simply because he can run a bit more than Evans. So for me, it would be Luke Shaw, Varane, and Lindelof if Maguire is not fit. But I would start Luke Shaw if he is fit because I think he might be able to make the game, but not so Maguire with what I saw against Bayern Munich and the way he came off. And of course, right back, I would put there Wan-Bissaka simply because our best defender, and we're going to need defenders that are able to handle themselves one-on-one. In midfield, Bruno is not available, as we know. 5 yellow cards. I would start Amrabat, Mainu, and I think Ten Hag is going to start McTominay in the 10, simply to be up there with Hoyland as a second striker, so to say, to feed off second balls, to try and win it for us so that we can, win the ball high up the pitch with a second ball. So I think that's what Ten Hag is going to do with those two up front, McTominay and Hoyland. And on the right and the left, I put Anthony and Garnacho. I think Ten Hag might start Rashford, but I would still start Garnacho and Anthony because I know what I'm going to get out of them. Work rate, tracking back, etc. And on the counter, we'll have a bit of pace going forward should we decide to play balls in behind, and of course look to counter them when we have those opportunities. Because we will have counter-attacking opportunities. We will have moments where we find ourselves with opportunities to get a goal. It will come down to us being clinical, but the way our front three and our forwards have been this season, we don't seem to be getting a goal anywhere. So us winning this game, no, let's not think about that. A draw, yeah, that might be a minimum outcome for us at least and would be a good result. But it is inevitable that you're probably going to look to lose this game. Some of the players might throw Ten Hag further under the bus to get him sacked so that they can have another few months performing well and then performing for the new manager, and then again next season just not giving a damn at all. So I don't know what to expect against Liverpool on Sunday, but I'm going to still believe, I'm always that type of United fan. I'm optimistic. I want us to win. Obviously, it's the derby, bragging rights, etc. But we have to be realistic. It is going to be a difficult game, and we are going to be swamped in terms of defending because Liverpool are going to attack us. They are going to want to score a few goals. And if they smell blood, they are going to definitely want to destroy us. And I fear what can happen if some of these players decide to phone it in and not care during the game. I fear what happens for Ten Hag, but we have to back him. We as the supporters, we need to stick by him because he is not the problem. We cannot have the same cycle repeat again. I just mentioned it. things need to change. We need to stick by the manager regardless of results. This game against Liverpool should not determine him and what he can do for us with a proper structure. He needs to be the man to take us forward, and that is what I believe. But Anfield is going to be tough, and I dread what can happen. But I always believe that we can do something, and maybe Garnacho comes up with something special. Maybe Wayland gets a debut goal. Maybe Rashford decides to start playing well and actually have a good performance, etc., etc. McTominay, getting another goal or two, being that nuisance in the box. We don't know. But whatever happens is going to happen, and then we're definitely going to see where we are. But it cannot be a game that will measure Ten Hag, whether he is good for us or not and should be sacked. It cannot be that way. Thank you for joining me in today's video. Drop a like, get your comments in below. Tell me what you think about the starting 11 and what you think about the game against Liverpool. And of course, subscribe to the channel, please. I appreciate the support, and I am thankful for those that do watch the videos and show your love. Of course, till we see each other again soon, the Red Devils, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share and subscribe.